Welcome back to CodeCraft by Aderemi. We will continue from where we stopped last week. So the last week we've created the questions and answer using the arrays and objects. So we want to get our HTML element now using our get element by ID. Then we'll save it in a variable. So for the question first, question element documents dot get element by ID. Question. Okay, we'll do the same for answer too. Get elements by ID. I will do the same for the button too. The next button. Document dot get elements by ID. So we are done with creating all these variables. So let's create a variable using let question index equals to 0. So this tracks the current question. Then create another one using score. So this track the user score too. Now let's create a function. A function that is going to display the question and it answers on the screen. Function show question. Show question. Let's create a variable which is question current equals to questions. Square brackets question index. So this question is our array of quiz questions. mm, question element dot inner HTML. Current dot questions. Current dot question. So this line picks the current question object from the array. So it takes the question text from the object and display it inside the HTML element with the ID question. Okay, since each question has multiple answers, we will look through each question, each answer object with for each function. So under it, we are creating a variable called button. Document dot create element. Open bracket. So this create a new button element dynamically using JavaScript. This button doesn't exist in the HTML until now. So after we created it, we are now saving it in a variable called button. So what I'm trying to for each quest for each answer, you are creating a what a button. So button dot inner text equals answer dot text. So this is going to set the text inside the button to the answer text. Then let's add a CSS style to it using class list. BTN. So we've done that before. If you check our CSS, check the button BTN, you see what we did there. So button dot data set dot correct answer dot correct. So this will store the answer whether it is correct or not inside the button. So this data set function is used to store structured data where each object stored has the same attributes. Now let's add an event listener to the button. If you understand what we did there, we said for each button, so this event listener is telling us that when we click the button, it should run the select answer function. And that function checks if the answer is correct. Append child, open bracket, button. So this adds the button to the answer section in our HTML. It makes the button visible to the user. Now, we said the append child is a key DOM manipulation tool that appends a node, let me say an element, as the last child of a specified parent. Now let's create another function called reset. Reset state. So next button. This function reset state that we are trying to create is going to reset the quiz UI before showing a new question or the final score. It removes the old answers and hides the next button. The style dot display equals to open string none. So this prevents the user from clicking next before answering a question and ensures the button only appears after an answer is selected. Answer dot element dot inner HTML. Empty string. So let's pass the function in our show question function. Yeah. So the set state will clear the old answers from the previous question and hide the next button. Let's put another function. This function select answer. Oh, there's error here. Let me give a space there. So this select answer function runs when a user clicks an answer button. E. So the E stands for events, the click events. Let's create a variable called selected button. So we're making use of target. Target refers to the exact button the user clicked. So this target, we are going to store it in a selected button so we can work with it. Let's create another variable called correct. Since data attributes are always stored as strings, not booleans, that's why we compare it to the string true. Yeah. Now let's create a conditional statement now. If correct, then a curly brackets, the selected button selected, dot class list dot add correct. Then let's increase the score by 1. Score plus plus. Now what is trying to tell us is that if the answer is correct, you add the correct class, the one we did in our CSS, which is green, and increase the score by 1. Now else selected dot class list add wrong. Yes, we did this in our CSS where we have the correct green then the wrong red. So if it is correct, color should change to green. If it is wrong, the color should change to red. So let's convert the list of answers button into an array and look through every answer button. Element the children for each button. Now let's create an if statement. If button dot dataset dot correct equals true, so if it is true, it will find the button that has a data correct equals true and had the correct class, which is the green color. So the user sees the right answers. So what this is trying to tell us that if the answer is correct, it will add a green button to the what correct answer. So you will know that the answer is correct. Now let's disable the other buttons. btn disable true. So this will prevent users from clicking multiple answers. Logs the question once an answer is chosen. Next button dot style dot display a string block. So it will make the next button visible and allows the user to move to the next question. Let's add an event listener. Click. So when the button is clicked, the function inside will run. The question index should increase by 1 and move the quiz to the next question. Now we are creating another conditional statement using if. Now if question index equals to the question length, greater than the question length. If question index is greater than the question length, show question. But we've not created the function, the show question function. Show question function. We are passing the show question function. Or else. Okay, let's leave that first. Let's create another function, which is the show question. Show score, sorry. Show score. So show score. So what it's trying to tell us is that if the each question is less than the number of the question length, it should show question. Else, if the question index is more than the question length, it should show the what? Score. You understand? Now you are setting the reset state function. Question dot elements dot inner HTML, sorry, inner text, I mean. A backtick, use code, use code, the dollar sign, then a curly brackets, score. Out of, okay, question dot length, curly brackets, question dot length. So the score is the number of correct answer, while the question length is the total number of questions. Then let the button display block. Next button dot inner text play again. String restart, sorry. Let's use restart. Then next button dot style. Display a string block. So to make the button visible again allows the user to interact with it. Now let's click and unclick. Now JavaScript. Location dot reload. Show question. Okay. I've now linked my JavaScript to the HTML. So I'm doing that now. Okay. I'm waiting for it to load. I want it to reload. Okay. So I'm trying to look at where the problem is. Let's inspect. We want to know where the issue is. Console. Okay, I think there's a problem there. Document that gets element. Oh, there's an error. Okay. 23. Okay, that's where the error is. It is double y instead of a single y. Let's remove one y from it. Okay. Okay. I think it's fine now. Okay. Okay. It's working perfectly fine now. You can see because it's wrong, it shows me the red answer while the correct answer shows the green. You can see I picked the correct answer, it showed me green. You can see restart. You can see my score. You can see. You can see. Okay. And that's it. You've just built a fully functional quiz app using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you find this tutorial helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification for more beginner projects. Thank you.